And I guess they're Kunj Mataji. Maharaj, can you hear me?
Yes.
Do you want me to lead kirtan, or would you like to?
Go ahead.
Okay, I'll be right back with the cartoon. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasaya Bhutale Srimad Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashatya Deshatarine Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Jayādvaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare.
Jai Om Vishnupada Paramam Suparikāja Kacharja Ashtottara Satashi Srimad A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda Ki Jai, Nama Acharya Sridhar Haridas Thakur Ki Jai, Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai, Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gopinath Sham Kund Radha Kund Giri Govardhan Ki Jai, Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai, Navadip Dham Ki Jai, Jagannath Puri Ki Jai, Ganga Mai Ki Jai, Jamuna Mai Ki Jai, Tulsi Devi Ki Jai, Bhakti Devi Ki Jai, Samaveta Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. Gaur Premanande. Here we go. So welcome back. We're on October 5th, 2022, if we're in New York. And we're reading Srimad Bhagavatam 392. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Rupam yade tadava bodha rasodayena shashvan vritta tamasa sadanugrahaya adhau grihitam avatara shataka bijam yannavi padma bhavanadaham avirasam. Lord Brahma said, "The form which I see is eternally freed from material contamination and has advented to show mercy to the devotees as a manifestation of internal potency. This incarnation is the origin of many other incarnations, and I am born from the lotus flower grown from your navel home." Purport. The three deities, Brahma, Vishnu, and Maheshwara, Shiva, the executive heads of the three modes of material nature, passion, goodness, and ignorance, are all generated from Garbhodakshay Vishnu, who is described herein by Brahma. From the Kshirodakshay Vishnu, many Vishnu incarnations expand at different ages in the duration of the cosmic manifestation. They are expanded only for the transcendental happiness of the pure devotees. The incarnations of Vishnu, who appear at different ages and times, are never to be compared to the conditioned souls. The Vishnu Tattvas are not to be compared to deities like Brahma and Shiva, nor are they on the same level. Anyone who compares them is called a Pashandi, or infidel. Tamasa, mentioned herein, is the material nature, and the spiritual nature has a completely separate existence from Tama. Therefore, spiritual nature is called Avabodha Rasa, or Avarodha Rasa. Avarodha means that which completely nullifies. In the transcendence, there's no chance of material contact by any means. Brahma is the first living being, and therefore he mentions his birth from the lotus flower, generated from the abdomen of Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Sthapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupakoda Mahyam Dadhati Shapadantikam Vande Ham Shri Guru Shri Jatapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Shagrashatam Sahagana Radhanatam Vikam Stam Sajivam Sadvaitam Svavatutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lolita Sri Vishakhan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kamshana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Puri Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindho Bhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Shri Gaur Bhaktarinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Rupam Yaretad Avabodha Rasodayena Shashvan Nivritta Tamasa Sadanugrahaya Ado Grihitam Avatara Shataika Bija Yan Nabhi Padma Bhavanad Aham Abhirasam. The word Grihitam is sometimes misunderstood. Grihita means accepted or taken. So the impersonalist says, yes, you see, there's the impersonal, absolute Brahma with no form, no qualities, and so on. And from that, the impersonal absolute comes the form of Godhead, taken from that impersonal, true absolute. But here Brahma denies that speculative proposition. Rupam yaretad avabodha rasodayena. This form has appeared by internal potency. Sometimes it's expressed that the Lord, by his own internal potency, manifests his transcendental form. That's not something that impersonal Brahma can do. The impersonal Brahma has no will, no thought, no desire, none of these things. And therefore no reason or no impetus, no reason or impetus for appearing in a form. There's no difference between Brahma, the impersonal Brahma, and the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But the personal form is more inclusive, and the impersonal is included. The personality of Godhead manifests his transcendental effulgence as the Brahmajyoti, but the Brahmajyoti doesn't manifest the personality of Godhead. So Rupam Yadeta, this form that I'm seeing, is Avabodha Rasa, or Avarodha Rasa. Either way, it's not a product of the material nature. It's manifested by the Lord's own internal potency. Shashvan Nivritta Tamasa, it's eternal and free from ignorance or free from the material qualities. And Sadanugrahaya, he shows this form to favor his devotees. Someplace, I think in the purport, he has no other reason to appear but for the pleasure of his pure devotees. Elsewhere in Bhagavatam, it says that he appears in the form in which the devotees worship him. That doesn't mean that any form, Kali, Durga, Shiva, Brahma, they're all the same. Yastu Narayan Devam Brahmarudradi Daivatai. Samatvayanaiva Viksheta Vipashanti Pavetri. Anyone who thinks that the forms of the demigods are on the same level as the form of the personality of Godhead is called a Pashanti, an infidel, an atheist, Pashanti. Sadanugrahaya, the Lord appears. Someone worships him as Nrsingadev, someone wants to see him as Kurma, someone wants to see him as Narayan, so someone wants to see him as Krishna. So Krishna reciprocates and reveals himself to the different devotees according to their mood. Ado Grihitam Avatara Shataika Bijam. You're the bij, the one seed of hundreds of avatars. The Garbhodakshay Vishnu expands himself as Kshirodakshay Vishnu, and all the incarnations within the universe are expanded from the Kshirodakshay Vishnu. So this Garbhodakshay Vishnu is described as Shata Eka Bija, the one seed for all the other forms. And Yan Navi Padma Bhavanad Aham Avirasa. And you're the source from which I'm generated. Nabhi Padma, from your lotus navel. Previously, Brahma didn't know, where have I come from? What is the source of this lotus? All of this was unknown to him. But now, by the mercy of the Lord, he knows that the source is the personality of Godhead. Now, let's see what we have here. Saraswati says, it's common belief amongst Indian people that Lord Shiva is equal to Vishnu, and very hard to dissuade them. Also, it is said that there's no qualified jiva. When there's no qualified jiva to take the post of Brahma, then Lord Vishnu assumes this position. In which case, Lord Vishnu is the executive head of all three modes of nature. Well, let's see. We have two questions there. First is that, yes, it's hard to dissuade people. They've grown up with a certain idea and they're reluctant to change, even if Shastra contradicts the idea. Aham adiri devanam. I'm the source of all the demigods. The Sarvadharman Pratyaja Mam Ekam Shavavinda, just surrender to me. Kamais Taister Ritagana Prabhadyante Devata. Only a person bereft of intelligence surrenders to other gods. So these things are there, these statements. But people are stuck up on their own particular traditions, and they don't accept, actually, the version of Shastra. So what can be done? We'll go on distributing our books gradually. Some people, at least for those who are fortunate, will get it, as so many have. Hold on 1 second. Messages, yeah. I see. And Praveen has posted the verse that I alluded to. Tvam bhakti yoga paribhavata hrit saroja asesh utekshita pato nanunata pamsam yad yaddiya tadurugaya vibhavayanti tat tad vapu pranayase sadanugrahaya. Oh my Lord, your devotees can see you through the ears by the process of bona fide hearing. And thus their hearts become cleansed. And you take your seat there. You are so merciful to your devotees that you manifest yourself in the particular eternal form of transcendence in which they always think of you. Yes, thank you for that. Oh, Tulsi Priya. Oh, wait, I didn't answer the other half of Saraswati's question. Then we'll come back to you. Vishnu is always in charge of everything. He's the executive head, not only of the three modes of nature, he's the executive head of everything that exists. That's Lord Vishnu's position. Then sometimes he takes the portfolio of Brahma also, just as sometimes the prime minister takes another portfolio, the defense ministry or some other posts. So Lord Vishnu sometimes also directly accepts the post of Brahma when there's no one else qualified. But in any case, he's always in charge of everything. Hope that's all right. Yes, Tulsi Priya.
Hi, Krishna Maharaj, please accept my obeisances. I might do better to do some homework, but maybe you'll know what I'm talking about. I seem to recall reading with my husband something that if you make a distinction between Lord Shiva and Krishna, that you're an offender. And it had us scratching our heads, and I wish I could remember where I read it, and I'll have to do some homework or consult with him and ask him.
It's quoted in Brihad Bhagavatamrita.
Okay. Okay.
Yes, from the 10 offenses against the holy name of the Lord. One offense is to think that the demigods like Shiva and Brahma are independent of the name of Lord Vishnu. But there's another way to read it, that to think that they're separate from Lord Vishnu. So the Prabhupada has placed the emphasis on one side, and quite not necessarily, but there's another side of it too. The demigods are not independent of Lord Vishnu. They're integrated with Lord Vishnu. Lord Shiva is the portion, almost on the level of Vishnu himself. So he's not separate from Vishnu. One shouldn't see that there are all these separate gods running around doing whatever they want, or that there's really just the impersonal Brahmajyoti, and then manifested from that are all these imaginary gods that you can worship according to your own whim. There's one personality of Godhead, and he's manifest in so many forms. In one sense, everything is a manifestation of Krishna. Vasudeva Sarvamiti, Krishna is everything. So whatever we see is non-different from Krishna. So if one sees a distinction, there's a verse someplace that anyone who's the enemy of the Pandavas is my enemy, the Lord says. Because there's this intimate relationship. Just like our Putin is now annexed a portion of what was considered Ukraine. So he says, now that's Russia. Anyone who touches that, if you attack that territory, you're attacking Russia directly. So, because that's now an integral part. So, of course, this is politics, and this is temporary, and this is all perhaps a poor analogy. But the idea, if you attack this person, then you're attacking me. So, because he's my intimate friend. So Lord Shiva is intimately, you can say, the intimate friend of Lord Vishnu. He's intimately related with Lord Vishnu. So if anyone sees Lord Vishnu and Lord Shiva as being separate, that's an offense too. And therefore, we also don't blaspheme the demigods. We don't take the position that they're equal to Vishnu, but we also don't take the position that they're separate from Vishnu. So both sides are there. Is that okay?
Yes, very much. Thank you. So would it be correct to say then that those who worship the demigods are less intelligent because inherent in demigod worship is this idea that they are separate from Krishna?
Ye pyamya devata bhakta yajante shraddhayanvita tepi mame vikontiya. Anyone who's worshiping the demigods is actually worshiping Krishna. Yajanti avidhi purvakam, but they're doing it the wrong way. They're doing it the wrong way. They're thinking, this is a separate God. I have to offer my respects to this God or that God. They're not seeing, as you said, they don't see that there's one personality of Godhead. These are all his agents. Something like thinking that the Viceroy is the king. The Viceroy is not the king, but he's as good as the king because he's the agent of the king. The demigods are empowered agents of Krishna, but Krishna doesn't recommend that we worship the agents. Sometimes it's recommended, Devan Bhavyatane, like that. But that's for the less intelligent. More intelligent, go directly to the root of the tree and water that, and all the branches and leaves will be watered. Is that okay?
Oh, perfect. Thank you so much.
Vijay Krishna, why is it that for me to enjoy the bliss of being a devotee, I do need to be freed from all types of material contamination? Is it that it is the water and oil that they never mix? Why is it that enjoy the bliss of being a devotee, I need to be freed from all types of material contamination? Is not very enjoyable. It obstructs our enjoyment. I'm wearing my spectacles. If there's some dirt on them, then I don't get the full enjoyment of seeing whatever there is to be seen, because the dirt gets in the way. So something I see, it's not all or nothing, but my vision is impaired because of the contamination. So we want to get free from all that contamination. Sarvapati Vinirmukta. Okay. Anything else? Okay. Nata padam padamayad bhavata sarupam anandamatram avikalpam vidtavarchaha pashyami visvasrijamekam avishvamatman bhutendriyatmakamadas ta upashritosmi. O my Lord, I do not see a form superior to your present form of eternal bliss and knowledge. In your impersonal Brahma effulgence in the spiritual sky, there's no occasional change and no deterioration of internal potency. I surrender unto you, because whereas I am proud of my material body and senses, your lordship is the cause of the cosmic manifestation, and yet you are untouched by matter. Purport. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, Bhaktya mam abhijanati yavanyas chasmi tattvata. The Supreme Personality of Godhead can only be partially known, and only by the process of devotional service to the Lord. Lord Brahma became aware that the Supreme Lord Krishna has many, many eternal blissful forms of knowledge. This is interesting. He became aware of this. He's not seeing all these multiple forms. He's only seeing the Garbhodakshay Vishnu. But by the grace of the Lord, he's able to understand that this Lord has innumerable forms. Bhaktya, by devotional service, he could understand that. Lord Brahma has described such expansions of the Supreme Lord, Govinda, in his Brahma Samhita as follows. Advaitam achyutam anadim ananta rupam Adyang Purana Purusham Navayovanam Cha Vedeshu Durlabhama Durlabhamatma Bhakto Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, who is non-dual and infallible. He is the original cause of all causes, even though he expands himself in many, many forms. Although he is the oldest personality, he is ever youthful, unaffected by old age. The Supreme Personality of Godhead cannot be known by the academic wisdom of the Vedas. One has to approach the devotee of the Lord to understand him. Apart from the meaning indicated here, it's always relishable for me to see Srila Prabhupada translate verses in different ways. We're used to one translation that appears in our published Brahma Samhita, but Srila Prabhupada here gives a different translation. And with the different translation come different insights into the meaning of the verse. And Srila Prabhupada would also translate the same verse, any verse, in different ways according to the occasion. So here we see a different translation from the one we're used to, but very much to be appreciated. And I like that last part of the translation. He can't be known by the academic wisdom of the Vedas. One has to approach the devotee of the Lord to understand him. So this is Srila Prabhupada's style of translation, not merely, as he said, not just A, B, C, D, but it's realized. Vedeshu durlabham, adurlabham atma bhakto. He's difficult to understand by the Vedas, but he can be understood by Atma Bhakti, by devotional service to the Lord. But here, Prabhupada says he can't be known by the academic wisdom of the Vedas, and one has to approach the devotee of the Lord to understand him. So this is unpacking the meaning of the words of the verse. Let's just see if I missed something. So, yeah. The only way to understand the Lord as he is by devotional service to the Lord, or by approaching the devotee of the Lord, who always has the Lord in his heart. By devotional perfection, one can understand, what is that verse? There's a song, Govinda Vishram. You can find that.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj. এই বার করুণা করো বৈষ্ণব গোসাই.
That you can find
গঙ্গার পরশ হইতে পশ্চাতে পাবন দর্শনে পবিত্র করো এই তোমার গুণ. গোবিন্দ তোমার হৃদয় গোবিন্দ বিশ্রাম গোবিন্দ কহেন মোর বৈষ্ণব প্রাণ.
That within your heart the Lord is resting, And Govinda himself says that the devotee is my life and soul. So here Srila Prabhupada refers to approaching the devotee who always has the Lord in his heart. Elsewhere, sadhavo hridiya mayam, sadhavo hridiya tvaham. I'm in the heart of the devotee, and the devotee is in my heart. They don't know anyone but me, so I don't know anyone but them. And thank you, Kamodi. Saraswati, was there a question on your side? Oh, there it is in the chat box. Many times you hear non-devotees challenge the Lord to appear before them instead of rendering service by which the Lord can be known. But even in mundane affairs, most high-profile people are private people, not willing to talk about themselves in intimate affairs. Also, we can only know the Lord partially due to our limited capacity, which means even if we cannot know the Lord fully, still we can attain maximum Krishna prema. In other words, you don't need to know Krishna inside out, ? If we had to know Krishna inside out, or 100%, then the program would never succeed. Even Krishna, Swayam evatmanatmanam veta tvam purushotam. Only you know yourself by your own powers. In the Bhagavad Gita, Swayam evatmanatmanam veta tvam purushotam. So then no one could understand the Lord at all. But the Lord manifests himself, as Prabhupada says, partially. The devotee is content to know something about the glories of the Lord, or he's not content. Bhuya katya triptirhi shrinvato nasti memritam. He always wants to hear more. He never gets tired of the glories of the Lord. So he wants to know more and more, but not with the idea that I'll finally reach 100% and I'll know everything about the Lord. Something I can understand according to my tiny size. So at least if I can be immersed in that consciousness of Krishna, then my life will be successful. Yes, Swami Jyoti.
In the Bhagavad Gita, what Krishna says himself, this is in chapter 10, that I am just a spark of the splendor of my appearances.
In chapter 10, Krishna says that whatever there is just a spark of my splendor. Yes. Thank you. Vijay Krishna says, related to Lord Brahma's surrendering to the Lord, he chose to surrender to someone who simultaneously creates matter and is detached from it. Why is it that to be detached from matter is a sign of high intelligence? First of all, it's not just high intelligence. Krishna is constitutionally detached from matter. It's not that he thinks, well, I think it would be a good idea to detach myself from matter. We think that way. We're implicated with matter. Matter causes so many problems for the spiritual living being. Birth, death, old age, disease, and we can go on about the problems of being associated with matter. But the Lord just is transcendental to matter. Aditya Varnam Tamasa Prastat. That's his position. Nata Param Paramayad Bhavata Srirupa. I don't see, there's nothing superior to this form of yours. Mata Parataram Nanyan Kinchidas Titam. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, there's nothing superior to me. So again, this refutes the Mayavadi idea that the superior thing is the impersonal Brahma, and the inferior manifestation is called the Supreme Lord. Here, nothing is superior to Krishna. Mata Parataramnanya Kinchidasti, not the slightest thing. Ananda Matra Avikalpam Avidhavacha. You're identical with the impersonal Brahmajyoti, the Ananda Matra. Avikalpam, it's not different from you. But this is a more complete realization. One who realizes Brahma may not realize Paramatma and Bhagavan, but one who realizes Bhagavan automatically realizes the Brahma and Paramatma features. Yes. Visvasujam, Pashyami Visvasujam. I see the creator of Vishva, the whole universe, who's Ekam, one without a second, and Avishvam. He's the creator of the world, but he's not of this world. Avishvam. He's not of this universe, even though he creates the universe. And I'm the creator, secondary creator, but what is my position? Utendriyatmakamadas. I'm intoxicated by association with the mind and senses. But therefore, te upashrita, I surrender to you. Murari Gupta, what is the understanding of Krishna telling Arjuna that he can know Krishna in full in Bhagavad Gita? Yes, which verse is that? Murari. And want to send me a red book?
I think it's 9th chapter. One can know me and full free from doubt.
Yes. Look at that. 9. Idam tute guhyatamam pravakshami anasuyave, because you're anasuyava, because you're non-envious. I'll speak to you this most confidential secret, guhyatamam. Jnana Vijnanam, I'll give you this knowledge, Vijnana Sahitam, along with realization. Yajgatva, knowing which, moksha se shubhat, you'll be freed from all ashubha, everything inauspicious. There's not, in the Sanskrit at least, I don't see a fullness there. And even if Prabhupada says you can know me in full, it means as fully as possible. As fully as possible. No one will ever understand the personality of Godhead 100%. That's okay. Sankarshan. Regarding how Prabhupada would translate verses differently, it brings to mind how some devotees get upset over word alterations in edits of Prabhupada's books. It seems that Prabhupada's concern was not changing the ideas of what he was presenting, was not changing the ideas. He was concerned with not changing the ideas of what he was presenting. Oftentimes, when Prabhupada is quoted as saying that Krishna writes the books, devotees point this out as proving that there was no need for editing. Do you have any comments regarding this? No, I don't. I've commented sufficiently on these topics. If there are any further comments to be made, the BBT trustees can make them. I don't think I need to go on about it. Thank you for the invitation. We've retired from these things. Yes, Tulsi Priya.
Maharaj, didn't Prabhupada also say that either he or his disciples would write more Bhagavad Gitas, and that there was unlimited Bhagavad Gitas that could be, editions of Bhagavad Gitas that could be published, and that would mean perforce that you would have to use different words than the original ones. So what would be the problem, provided that the teachings are not altered?
The incident is that Pradumna, as he told me, asked Srila Prabhupada that when you finish Srimad Bhagavatam, what will you take on next? And Prabhupada said, oh, maybe Bhagavad Gita. And Pradumna said, Prabhupada, you've already done Bhagavad Gita. Prabhupada said, oh, that's only one Bhagavad Gita. There can be so many. Because Prabhupada had followed the commentary of Baldev Vijayabhushan for Bhagavad Gita as it is. But there's so many other commentaries. So again, one can give Bhagavad Gita from a different point of view, keeping the same essential meaning. Krishna is always the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But the Acharyas have given different insights in different commentaries. So Prabhupada said, that's only one Bhagavad Gita. There can be so many. Yes. Our Tripurari Maharaj was very happy to hear that story. He gave a commentary on Bhagavad Gita, very good commentary, and then was criticized that how can you, who are you to write another commentary after Prabhupada's written a commentary? But no, this is part of our tradition. Vishwanath has written a commentary, and then Baladev writes a commentary. Not that, no, the commentary is already there. Nothing more to be said. So there's scope for more. Yes, and for being quotes, Gyanam teham savigyanam, idam vaksham yasheshata, yashgatva neha bhuyon yaj, gyatavyam avashishyate. Gyanam teham savigyanam. I'm going to speak to you this knowledge. This is also where is this, Prabhi? Gyanam teham savigyanam. 7. Yes. Gyanam teham. Maya sakta manaparta yogam indra manashmi. Asamsham samagram mam. Yata gas as he touched me. So yes, now yajgatva neha bunyo yajgatavyam avashishyate. Once you know this, there's nothing more. Prabhupada gave the example that if you know ABCD, if you know the letters of the alphabet, you know all the words in that sense, because they're all covered by the letters of the alphabet. If you know 1 through 0, then you've got all the numbers. The specific if one knows Krishna, what is that? Yasmin vigate sarvameva vigatam bhavati. If one knows Krishna, one knows everything. So, so we don't need the inferior methods of karma, jnana, yoga, and so on. If one simply surrenders to Krishna and understands Krishna, then nothing left is, there's nothing left that we need to know. Gyatavyam avishishyate. Someone may say, no, you don't know the details of this or that, this aspect of Sankhya philosophy, this aspect of Vedanta. But if one knows Krishna, he's the knower of everything. Yomam eva masam mudho janati purushottamam sasarvavid. If one simply knows that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Purushottam, then he knows everything. Sasarvavid bhajati imam. Therefore, he engages in my devotional service. Sarvabhavena bhajati. He engages in devotional service in every respect, or another way to take that is full-heartedly. I wonder let's just see what Baladev says about Asheshata. Wow. Yeah. Before attaining the state, this is very nice. The translation, this is Baladev. I will explain to you the knowledge of my powers, jnana, along with the knowledge of my sweetness, vijnana, knowing which nothing else remains to be known. Commentary, before attaining the stage of attachment to me, the devotee understands jnana, my powers. After that, he realizes vijnana, my sweetness. Hear about both of these. Knowing this, nothing else remains to be known, for knowledge and realization of my impersonal aspect are included. I think that answers Rai Prabhu's question. Then there's Vijay Krishna. If for me to know Krishna, I do need to approach the devotee of the Lord, what is it that I need to do in order to approach the devotee in the most favorable, profitable way? Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena. Seva. One has to approach with surrender, with service, and with questions. Saraswati says, can there be instances where a devotee is equally attached to many incarnations of Krishna and not have one predominant one? If so, would they have multiple rasas with each incarnation? Whoa. Well, we do hear that devotees appear in the pastimes of Krishna and the pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So that we hear. I haven't heard any instance where the devotee's affection was, say, spread between Lord Ramchandra and Krishna. But there can be realization that they're one. When Jambavan was fighting against Krishna over the Shamataka jewel, then they were fighting and fighting. This Jambavan was a celebrated devotee of Lord Ramchandra. Then while fighting Krishna, he was getting tired, getting exhausted, even though he was the most powerful person. So he was thinking, what is it? How is it that this person is fighting against me for 28 days and wearing me out? Oh, he must be my Lord, Ramchandra. So by his service, because Krishna enjoyed the fighting, he could understand that Krishna and Lord Ramchandra are the same Supreme Personality of Godhead. And yet his attachment is known to be attachment for Lord Ramchandra. Hanuman doesn't spread his devotion out. He knows that Krishna and Ramchandra are the same personality of Godhead, and yet his attachment is toward Lord Ramchandra. I don't know of any other multiple rasa, multiple attachment instances. Murari Gupta, again, that's Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It's Lord Ramchandra and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the original personality of Godhead, and devotees, we hear, they have a relationship with Krishna and at the same time a relationship with Chaitanya. Okay, we can stop here. Thank you all very much. Hare Krishna. And I wonder who'd like to do the lead kirtan.
I would like to do the kirtan.
You're on.
Yes, but first I need to know from Tulasi Priya Dasi Mataji if the sound is okay.
Sound
can
is fine,
hear you.
Prabhu.
Is it okay?
Yes, you're fine.
Okay. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Jai Om Vishnuvad Purnaman Suparikad Kacharya Ashtottara Satashi Srimad A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai
Jai,
Anta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai
Jai,
Amacharya Sridhar Haridas Thakur Ki Jai
Jai,
Aim Sakho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakti Vrinda Ki Jai
Jai,
Shri Radha Krishna Gopinath Sham Kun Radha Kun Didi Govardhan Ki Jai
Jai,
Davan Tham Ki Jai
Jai,
Tham Ki Jai
Jai,
Jagat Ki Jai Gangamai Ki Jai Namai Ki Jai Tulsi Devi Ki Jai Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees.
Hare Krishna,
All glories to the assembled devotees.
Hare Krishna,
Glories to the assembled devotees.
Hare Krishna.
Vande Hari.
Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
everyone, for joining us tonight. Please share the class links and also support ISKCON of Tuaco and Maharaj's preaching from his website. And we look forward to you joining us tomorrow for Chaitanya Charitamrita. And Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. Srila
Jai,
Prabhupada Ki Jai.
Jai,
Srila Jayādvaita Maharaj Ki Jai.
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 Purva
Jai,
Kamani
thank
Ki
you.
Hare
Jai.
Krishna. Jai. We'll see you in Vrindavan in the 18th of October. So if you need anything, no,
Anything from here.
any nuts, dry fruit.
Thank you.
Yes.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you,
Srila
Maharaj.
Prabhupada Ki Jai.
Jai,
Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai.
Jai.
Nande.
Hare
Hare
Hare.
Hare.